welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm going to make Chinese steamed eggs. And I believe that most of you all might have tried it before, especially if you are a Chinese, and many of you might have even made it at home before. So why should I show you such a simple dish that we make it at home every day in this video? That's because I want to share with you some of the tips that I have learned throughout my work in the restaurant as well as a home cook. And these are important things in order to ensure that your steamed egg is perfect. So let's get started. First, crack the eggs into a mixing bowl. I'm using 3 eggs today. Okay. Next, just add a pinch of salt. And then use a fork or a pair of chopsticks to break the egg yolk and then stir in one direction until it is well combined. I do not want to whisk it vigorously because I do not want to create too many bubbles. Okay, I have already stirred it for about slightly over half a minute. There are some bubbles, but that's not too many. Then add the water to the egg. My ratio is 1 to 1.75. That means since I have 3 eggs, which is about 150 grams of egg, I'll then add 260 ml of water. That will be just right. Now you can see there are still quite a lot of bubbles, so I need to filter it by using a strainer. That will help to break the bubbles as well as removing the impurities. Okay, look at it, the bubble is already gone. And by doing so, the egg custard will be very smooth after steaming. Next, transfer the eggs into a steaming plate. I prefer to use the stainless steel plate. You can use a ceramic plate too. But if you use the stainless steel plate, it will take a shorter time to get it done because stainless steel is a better heat conductor. Now, because I have already filtered or strained it through the strainer, virtually I have already removed all the bubbles, but there are still a few more. So the easiest way is to get a piece of paper towel, kitchen paper towel, and use the tip to poke onto the small little bubbles that you can find. And most of the bubbles are at the side, at the edges. And that will be a very useful way to make sure that it is mirror smooth after you steam the egg. By using the paper towel is much more effective than by using a spoon to scoop the bubble away. Okay, now I have already break all the bubbles. It comes to the last step before we start to steam the egg, and we need to cover it. Because if we do not cover it, what happens is the water will condense onto the surface during steaming and it will damage the shining surface, the smooth surface. So there are three ways we can do. The first way is that you use a cling wrap. The second way is use an aluminum foil. And if you think you do not want to use the cling wrap or aluminum foil for environmentally friendly, you can use a larger plate to cover it, but it is slightly less effective. For today's recipe, I would choose to use the cling wrap. Set up a steaming station and then carefully put the egg on top of it. And Adjust the level. If it is not level, make sure that it is level. And after that, close it. Put it over low heat for about 8 minutes for 3 eggs. While steaming the eggs, I want to take this short while to mention to you some of the tips that I would like to share with you. The first thing you need to do is not to whisk the egg vigorously, just to stir it in one direction. Try to avoid to create a lot of bubbles. Next, strain the eggs to remove any impurities and also the bubbles. Then pour it into a plate and use the paper towel to poke the bubbles to remove all of them. And before you steam it, always cover it with either aluminum foil, cling wrap, or a large plate. Now steam over low heat for about 8 minutes, and after that I will open it and take a look of it. And if it is still not fully set yet, then I can always add a minute or two. It is entirely alright. And I also want to mention about the water quality. At certain places, the tap water may have some chlorine smell. So if that's happened to where you live, always boil the water first, let it cool, and use that water for the egg. But if your water quality is good without any chlorine smell, you can use it directly from the tap. And one important thing is about the ratio of the egg and also water. My recommendation is 1 to 1.5. That means that if you have one egg, which is about 50 grams, then you use 1.5, that is 75 grams of water. So 1 to 1.5. If you want it to be slightly softer, 1 to 1.75. If you want it to be much firmer, 1 to 1.25. Okay, now it's already 8 minutes. And well, I would like to show you this. If you do not cover it, can you see the water? The water will drip onto the surface and it will destroy it. And you will no longer get the mirror smooth texture. So now you can take a quick look just to tap on it. And it is quite firm already. If it's not firm and still jiggle too much, you can add another 1 minute and cover it for another minute. And you can continue doing so without any problem. So what I'm going to do now is just to remove it from the steamer. Remove the cling wrap. And you'll get a very smooth texture. And if you move it slightly, it's still jiggling. The very basic home cooked method is just to add some light soy sauce on it with some green onions. Let's try. I've eaten this since I was probably 3 years old when I was young. It is silky, it is smooth, it is delicate. It entirely depends on the flavor of the egg, a little bit of salt, and the soy sauce. I've put all the details of the tips that I have mentioned just now into my blog post. You can take a look of it, and I will leave the link in the description below. And I will also include the recipe over there. And the recipe will also be included at the end of this video for your reference. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.